What is up, my Pika crew? This is the ThePikaWu and welcome to another black and white Wi-Fi battle. So just a quick note before we start the actual video. I know I only post once a week, which isn't that much, but I will free up in a couple of months, so I am planning on some very big things then. Also, to those who are interested, I will be attending the VGCs, so if anyone is attending the Massachusetts Regional VGCs, which is on the 14th, be sure to hit me up. In line with that, I also need someone who can RNG, because I need someone to help me RNG my team, and that would be really greatly appreciated. So anyone who can do that, please send me a message. Now, onto the battle. This is going to be an OU tier match against a guy called ThePikaWu. He just hit 700 subscribers, so let's help support him and get him to maybe 1,000. He does a lot of really unique stuff on his channel, and I highly suggest you guys to check out his channel. Aside from the 5th generation battles, like the stuff I usually do, he does 2nd generation stuff, so battles in gold and silver, really old school, really cool. He also does these battles on Pokemon Stadium 2. It's really interesting, and I highly suggest you guys to support him and help him out, and if you like his content, be sure to subscribe to him. He also does trading card videos and custom movesets, and yeah, so that's ThePikaWu in a nutshell. Check out his channel. Now, looking at the teams, he has a Hail team, which is pretty dangerous because kyurem-b is extremely powerful with base 170 attack. Although, I have 2 specific Pokemon that can deal with his team pretty nicely. That's going to be my Landorus and my Terrakion. Now, on my side, I've got a Fire Grass Water Core and 3 other sweepers, which is Terrakion, Landorus, and Latios. It's pretty offensive, and I should be able to deal pretty decently against my opponent's team, because Terrakion and Landorus, like I said, can deal heavy damage against my opponent. So I hope you guys enjoy. So, like I said in the intro, I'm the guy leading off with the Terrakion, not the guy leading off the Cloyster, because I lost my save file. This battle is going to be in the perspective of my opponent. Anyways, I lead off with the Terrakion, anticipating my opponent to lead off with the Abomasnow. Plus, it deals heavy damage against the majority of my opponent's team, since a lot of his Pokemon are Ice type, which makes sense because he does have a Hail team. And I'm pretty much just going to go and fire off a close combat to try to take down this Cloyster. Seeing that he is a lead Cloyster, he's most likely going to carry that Focus Sash, and I was really anticipating him to go for the Shell Smash there if he was a Focus Sash set, so that was very surprising that he just went straight out for the Ice Kill Spear. But luckily for me, I am going to live even with that -1 attack, and I can fire off another close combat. Had he went for that boosting move, that Shell Smash, he could outspeed me and take me out the 2nd turn, so that was kind of a misplay on my opponent's part. So he brings in the Tentacruel, which is his only fighting resist. It's not really known to have that great physical defense. It's more of a special wall, so I'm just going to go ahead and fire off a Stone Edge before he takes me out of Scald. Not really the greatest move on my part, because having Terrakion late game would be really important, because it deals heavy damage against my opponent, and I could potentially have a sweep with Terrakion late game, but because I fought it off so early, that wasn't really a good thing. Now, I'm going to go into my Latios, trying to bait the Heatran to take the Psyshock, so I'm actually going to double switch to maintain this offensive pressure, and I'm going to go into my Landorus to deal with his Heatran. Unfortunately for me, he's actually going to stay in and go for the Blizzard, which is really surprising. I didn't think he wanted to lose his Tentacruel so early in the match, because it is his only fighting resist, but that really sucks, because now I do lose my Landorus, and like I said in the intro, Terrakion and Landorus are my most heavy damage dealing Pokemon that I have in my team against my opponent, so losing those 2 Pokemon very early on, not good at all. Here, I'm just going to Volt Switch and then bring in my Latias as I take down that Tentacruel. He's going to bring in the Abomasnow, and the way he brings it in makes me think that he is a Choice Scarf set, but as you can see by his HP, he is a bulky set with 384 HP. However, I did not know that, so I want to play it safe. I'm going to bring in my Heatran to quad resist that predicted Blizzard. He ends up getting the Freeze, which I believe is a 30% chance, so it was going to happen eventually, because that's what Hail teams do. They freeze stuff and spam Blizzard. So my Heatran gets frozen, and that's not good. I am going to go into my Latias here, because I was thinking he's either going to switch or he might carry the Earthquake. So I wanted to predict the Earthquake or scout for it. Turns out he goes for the Focus Blast instead, so that's really nice to know that he's mostly special based. Here I'm going to predict aggressively, anticipating him to bring in the Heatran once more, anticipating either the Hidden Power Fire or Draco Meteor from my Latias, so that's why I bring in my Rotom Wash to deal with the Heatran, to try to take him out with a Hydro Pump. Unfortunately for me, he stays in again, which doesn't really make that much sense. He has a Pokemon that can wall my Latias. I don't understand why he doesn't bring it in. But this puts me in a very bad situation because I don't have anything that could deal super effective damage against the Abomasnow except for Signal Beam, and because Signal Beam is 75 base power, it's not that strong. I don't think it's going to take down the Abomasnow, but I go for it anyways just to deal some damage before he takes me out. Luckily for me, he does switch into Jolteon, actually anticipating the Volt switch, and I do get the Confusion, which is really nice because he hits himself in Confusion the first time, which gives me a free switch into Heatran. And because I see leftovers on this Jolteon, it's not going to be that big of a threat. It's not a choice spec set, so it's not going to hit my Heatran that hard with a Thunderbolt, and I can start burning off some turns to try to thaw from this freeze. And this is going to be really important because Heatran is an important member of my team, as Fire-type moves deal very nicely against my opponent because he has an Abomasnow and kyurem-b. They both get hit hard by Fire-type moves. On top of that, my Heatran carries a lot of speed EVs, so if my opponent has a defensive Heatran, I should be able to outspeed that and go for the Earth Power. So here, because I'm frozen, I'm thinking he's probably going to bring in the Cloyster before I get the Stealth Rocks up, or to try to take advantage of the fact that I am frozen. I'm going to go ahead and double switch and bring in my Latias here to go for the Psyshock and take him out, and that works really nicely. Finally, my predictions are paying off, and he's going to bring in the Jolteon here. He can go for either the Shadow Ball or the Hidden Power Ice. Both deal super effective damage against my Celebi and my Latias, but because I'm specially defensive, and because this Jolteon has leftovers, not Life Orb or Choice Specs, I know for sure I can take two of those, whether it is a Hidden Power Ice or a Shadow Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and U-turn here, anticipating my opponent to switch, probably into the Heatran again because it can wall pretty much my whole team, especially with my Landorus and my Terrakion out. I have Rotom that can deal with it, and I have kind of Heatran to deal with it, except I'm frozen, so not really. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the U-turn as he goes for the Hidden Power Ice. That's fine. This Celebi isn't really going to do much anyways against his team because Kyurem pretty much walls my Celebi, and Heatran as well, so yeah. I'm going to bring in my Heatran again, try to burn off some turns. Like I said earlier on, I'm still going to stick with that plan. He's going to Baton Pass, that's fine. Probably into his Heatran, anticipating me to go for either the Fire-type move or to set up Stealth Rocks, and he can threaten me out with the Ground-type move. So I'm not really afraid of the Earth Power, because I know I can live one shot, because this is especially defensive Heatran as well, and I have a really nice investment in speed, so I can outspeed other defensive Heatrans. But luckily for me, I don't really need to take an Earth Power because I thaw out at the right moment. I'm going to go for the Earth Power here as he actually just goes for the Stealth Rock to set up the rocks. And this is very, very good because I outspeed him. He's going to get taken down by Earth Power, so it's either he has to switch or risk getting taken down. So because I'm pretty sure he's going to switch, I'm going to go ahead and go for the Stealth Rocks of my own on the switch. So let's see what happens. He ends up switching. He's probably going to switch into his Abomasnow to resist the hit, and I get my Stealth Rocks up, which is going to chip away at a lot of his Pokemon, especially with Tentacruel down. This is good. Abomasnow and Kyurem are going to lose a quarter health every time they switch in. Abomasnow, not really a big threat because I know it's not a Scarf set. I can outspeed. I can go for the 4x super effective Lava Plume, and that's going to get taken down. My main concern here is that Kyurem, because Choice Banded Outrage does a ton of damage against my team, and I need to keep my Latias here as a check, so that if he does lock himself into the Outrage, I can outspeed him, take him out with a Draco Meteor. So he's going to bring in the Kyurem here. That's fine. I don't really want to take a hit with Heatran. I'm going to decide to fodder a Pokemon. Because my Celebi is at low health, I am going to decide to fodder him out here. Let's see what he locks himself into. He's going to lock himself into Outrage, which is perfect because I am assuming he's going to be a Choice Banded set like a good portion of the kyurem-blacks in the OU metagame. So I am going to go ahead and bring in my Latias to take him out with the Draco Meteor. But unfortunately for me, he is a Choice Scarf set, which kind of surprised me. I should have thought about that, but that really sucked because now I lost my Latias. I have my Heatran and my Rotom left. So because he's locked into the Outrage and he is confused and he's Scarfed and not Banded, I should be able to take this Outrage, and I am going to fire off a Lava Plume and take down that Jolteon. So this is really good. I believe he has 2 Pokemon left. He has the Kyurem of his own, and he has the Heatran of his own. And I have 2 Pokemon left as well, Heatran and my Rotom. So what I'm thinking here is I really don't want to take any Outrage hit or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and just fodder off my Rotom here, see if he locks himself into Outrage, and maybe hope for a 2-turn Outrage, because I don't know how many hits my Heatran can take from this Kyurem Black, because if he gets the 3-turn Outrage, he's going to hit my Heatran twice, and that might take me out, and I really overestimated Kyurem Black, because I was thinking this Outrage is going to do like 40% despite the resistance, because it's a Kyurem Black with base 170 attack, but turns out it doesn't really do that much, so that was really nice to see. However, because I switched him in, I did take that Stealth Rocks damage, so he can potentially take me out with an Outrage and Hail damage. So I'm praying here to live, because even if I live this hit, I'm not sure if Hail will take me out next turn, and if it does, I am going to lose the match, just because I switched out and switched in, and he set up Stealth Rocks. And that was really a misplay, because I overestimated this Kyurem Black. I thought maybe if he got a 2-turn Outrage, I will win. If he got a 3-turn Outrage, I will lose. But in this case, he gets a 3-turn Outrage, and I am going to live, which is amazing. And because his last Pokemon is the Heatran of his own, I am going to be able to outspeed with the Speed EVs and take him out with the Earth Power, and that is going to be the match. So it is going to be a close 1-0. I'm going to live with like 6 HP after Hell. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this battle. If you guys did, feel free to leave a like, comment, and favorite. And stay tuned for the comment question of the day. This is the ThePikaWu. If you guys haven't subscribed already, be sure to join the Pika crew by subscribing. Peace!